It was never about Raila. It was a Luo. Any Luo that would have been in that position of Raila would have been rejected by the people from the mountain. So, if you are Kikuyu, they will come to your house and take you to the river at 5 a.m. in the morning. This is a massacre that was done with. Odinga did not have an idea of Kenyatta coming to be prime minister. The plan was Kenyatta was to come out of prison to come and help Odinga and the others run the country. That was the idea. They have hated Raila until the day Raila has died trying to. Now, I'll be very brief, but I'll be very straight to the reason why the Kikuyu community hates Raila passionately, with all their mind, with all their soul. Even the youngsters, the Gen Z that have come up, just youngsters, that were just born the other day in 2000s, they are hating Raila Odinga. Hatred has got more power, I tell you. Today I would like to explain to you exactly how this hatred came up. I'll be very brief. Please stick around. I'll be very brief. I'll try to create another video that will be with much details. First, it began with the first two leaders of this country, who was Jaramogi Oginga Odinga and Kenyatta. Number one, Jaramogi is selected by the Europeans to be in charge of the country as a prime minister because of the very heart that Raila inherited, sympathy. He sympathizes that if he takes the seat while Kenyatta is still in prison, things might not work well. He insists that the European release the Britons, that they release Kenyatta from Kapengure prison. Kenyatta comes. Odinga had only one ideology at hand, which was true to the Africans, that we want the European to give us back our land and leave. Then the idea was that when Kenyatta comes, Odinga did not have an idea of Kenyatta coming to be prime minister. The plan was Kenyatta was to come out of prison to come and help Odinga and the others run the country. That was the idea. But what we are told is a lie. So when Odinga accepts to have Kenyatta and the others be released, when they are released, the Europeans get another idea in their head. Which was the idea? The idea was that Odinga wanted all the Europeans leave the country, give back the lands to Africans, then the lands be returned back to the original owners, who are the Africans. Betrayal comes out. When Kenyatta comes from prison, he's taken somewhere by the Europeans. And then he's told that your friend has really fought for you to come out, but he's too difficult. He wants us to live and live completely, yet we have invested here. They gave him a deal where he was asked to accept be the president, to accept betray Oginga Odinga, and in reward they will give him some pieces of land so that some Europeans remain here. That's why we had Kenyatta take leadership and Europeans remained here, such as we have Del Monte, we have Delamere, and others that are bigger, Kakuzi. Then you see, these were lands that belong to people. But now that Kenyatta was to sign a deal, giving the European room to remain, he was also to be given some parts of this land. That's why Kenyatta got the largest portion of land in this country. To make this possible, they were now to pull down Oginga Odinga, who was not for the deal. The deal that was there to be between Oginga Odinga and the European, where the loggerhead was coming in, is that Odinga wanted the European to go completely and then the land to be returned to Africans. But Odinga refused. What happened? Kenyatta took the deal, betrayed his own people, and plotted to now get Oginga Odinga out of government, because Odinga was still insisting, even went ahead and wrote a book that not yet Uhuru, which meant that the grievances of the Africans have not been met. Greed. took place. When Odinga was now pushing ahead the idea, tribalism kicked in. They began saying that, those who had surrounded Kenyatta, they began saying that Odinga wants to take power from you by force. So they spread the news to their people. They started spreading news to their people that this man wants to take power from me. But you see, what Odinga was advocating was that you people from Kikuyu land, this man has taken the land that was supposed to be yours. It has been given to him by the Wazungu, by the Europeans, so that you continue living in slums. But they listen. Kenyatta came up with a deal. Took a few Kikuyus, those who were really crying out for their land, went and gave them lands in areas that were never meant to be for them, areas that were meant for other people. Like he gave Kikuyus land in the coast region, he gave Kikuyus land in my home area in Trans Nzoia, he gave Kikuyus land in different parts of the country to try and settle them, yet he took their land. Now, have you ever heard the story of, I don't know, some prophets fighting for people who crucified them, like Jesus Christ? This is exactly what happened. Odinga was crucified, yet he was fighting for the same Kikuyus. But whom could they listen to? They were listening to their own, yet their own was the one eating them. It's about the story of the axe and the forest. Story 1. Story 2. In 1969, Tom Mboya is killed. This is where now the hatred between the Kikuyu and the Luo took root and is what ate Raila to date. Now, when Tom Mboya was murdered and Kenyatta in 1969 decided to go to Kisumu to go and bury Tom Mboya, reaching there, the people were agitated, and for one reason or the other, issues rose up. They say they threw a rotten egg at Kenyatta. What Kenyatta's IDE and the police do was the worst. They reacted impulsively by shooting at least more than 50 Luos. This is a massacre that was done with from the books of history. It's never written anywhere in our books of history. Our children are never taught that. That ground was meant to disappear. No one talks about that. No politician, not even Raila, was allowed to talk about that. Not even James Orengo. They used to talk about it before, very many years back. But then that thing disappeared. Why? When Kenyatta left Kisumu after the shooting, they came to Nairobi. They sat down, they had a crisis meeting with the people who were surrounding him. They were like, these people might find a way of retaliating. So the Kikuyu elders were called for a meeting, and they were called to go and give oaths, swear oaths to all the men in their community. So if you are Kikuyu, they will come to your house and take you to the river at 5 a.m. in the morning to swear, to make you swear that the Luos are your enemies. The Luo is the enemy of the clan, and we should never allow them near power, because if they ever take power, they will revenge the deaths of their people. So every household, every man was meant to swear by the river very early in the morning. It became like cleansing. For a period of around 10 years, until the time Kenyatta dies in 1978, Kenyatta had never stepped in Luo Nyanza. The hatred between the Kikuyu and the Luo had beefed up so high, such that the Kikuyus were made to view a Luo as somebody who is out to revenge. The old men who were meant to swear gave birth to children or had children that they sweared in. So it was now their role to swear their children into the same oath that we have an enemy that might come and revenge because we did something against them. They made their children to swear the same, that never ever vote for a Luo. A Luo is our enemy. It was never about Raila, it was a Luo. any Luo that would have been in that position of Raila would have been rejected by the people from the mountain. That was how and why people have tried convincing the Luo, the Kikuyus, to vote for Raila, and it has been futile. I've lived in Kikuyu land for about 5 years now, and as I tell you, trying to convince anyone about this is very difficult. I knew about this because I live here. They were taken to the river. Most of them have confirmed to me he saw his father being taken to the river, some of them even naked. Those who are trying to resist, to be made to swear that they will never ever allow a Kikuyu to ascend to power. And that is what happened exactly in 2007. Kibaki had accepted that he has lost, but they reminded him, remember, we vowed we shall never allow a Luo to step in power because he shall revenge. In 2002, Kibaki betrayed Raila when they had a deal that Raila should be the prime minister. Kibaki betrayed again because his people told him that, how can you put a Luo in power? If you put a Luo in power, we are going to be made to put on shorts. Look at how much hatred can do to a country. This hatred has been planted so deep in the heads of even the learned people in Kikuyu land, so that they do not see any reason why Raila is a good man. They have hated Raila until the day Raila has died, trying to show them that he's a good man. We celebrate Raila as a hero. I celebrate Raila as my hero. We have never seen any other like that. I'll give you more stories on how we were brought up knowing Raila is a god, but that's a story for another day. But today, now you've known why the Kikuyus never ever tried voting for Raila. If you have any doubts, if you have any comments, if you have any confirmation to make, please kindly share with us down here. Thank you.